I don't love Nocturne as like a first pick because it really does require a full dive comp. Obviously, it's such a good pairing with the Orianna. I think it can individually be strong, but you are fully committing and broadcasting to everyone, this is what our comp will do. And look at the win rate, 1 in 7, right? You know, it has not really been that successful because generally when it's getting played is without the Orianna. And now when you're on the other side, you can be like, all right, we're playing counter engage. With their first pick, I already know exactly what they're going to do because you can't be like, oh, never mind, we're going to play poke. And now we'll just have Nocturne press R and then strafe. Like that it just doesn't work.
You like cursed name combinations. Whenever I hear 1 in 7, I think of that Brazilian soccer team. So this is Sockturn. That's what he accomplishes. He kicks the ball, so he doesn't hit the net.
So you're saying he's only Sockturn for this game because the wind's going to change after this game.
Win or lose, he's no longer Sockturn.
Okay,
but for this brief, holy moment in time.
Wow.
Together, here.
Everyone watching, congratulations, you're here for this Sockturn moment. The one and only this brief period in time, the 1 in 7. But here's the counter engage that you're talking about. If you see a Nocturne, you say, all right, get me out of there. Xayah airlift, I have a pretty good counter engage option. And to me, I always like mentioning for Yeon and CoreJJ, I think they're the most dangerous Xayah Rakan combos that we have had in this league. They have performed on it way more than anyone else certainly has. And obviously CoreJJ has his own Rakan skin, so that's pretty good. That's a little bit more credibility there on top.
Yeah, that helps. I mean, Yeon is 3-0 on the pick so far this split.
Yeah, he's shredded.
He is really, really good at playing. His game against Disguised just last week, he brought it out and was quite effective there. And so it is just going to be, you know, a comp built here to absorb the dive. You have Viktor, which obviously, you know, you can dive on Viktor for sure, but Viktor can also go some pretty defensive builds, and you can get in towards the Zonias later on. You have Xayah, who's going to be able to answer with the Featherstorm pretty effectively, and Rakan, as you dive in, presses R and runs through your whole team, and that makes it very difficult to follow up.
And yeah, Viktor's diveable, but as he sees you diving towards him, he's going to throw down the gravity field. He's going to summon the Arcane Storm. You might get him, but it's going to hurt getting there, and there's still the rest of the team that you've got to deal with. Xayah's ability to not only save herself, but leave an entire field of feathers to, again, counter this dive. I'm curious how LYON is going to back this up with this Nocturne to make it all work out. Getting into second half of the bans, we do need to see how these are going to work. The Azir banned away by Team Liquid, wanting to make sure they don't just go scaling Control Mage versus scaling Control Mage here in mid, as Wukong is targeted by LYON.
Well, I was going to call out the Akali as a potential ban here because I'm just thinking about who are your dive buddies, right? Inspired needs some dive buddies, and Saint, you know, generally the champions that he plays, you know, that are aggressive are ones like Akali, which just got banned, like the Ahri, which just got played,
and
the Yone just got played. There's Sylas, but I don't really know that Sylas is going to fit as well here. Sylas can steal Rakan ult, that's all right. You know, maybe something else comes in, but I'm just kind of struggling to think through like what their pairings are that make the Nocturne feel valuable.
Maybe maybe they're theorizing that Morgan is probably going to pick a tank due to the TL team comp, and then maybe they'll have Dhokla on some sort of dive/carry top lane option into it. Maybe that is the angle. We'll have to wait and see. Because TL definitely would benefit from a strong front line still here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dhokla, when we look through what he's played, like he hasn't played Mbessa, he hasn't played, you know, Aatrox or any of these kind of melee divers. He does play some aggressive stuff, and he did play one game with Kennen, which I think Kennen fits really well with the comp, but it has to also fit the matchup, right? And Morgan is going to be last picking here. Jose just goes Sejuani. He's been focusing with bans the whole series long, but he just goes to another tank here. And Annie, you know, would obviously be a pretty good pairing. So could be interesting to see what he goes for, and maybe they feel like Annie Nocturne is just enough, but I do feel like you need another champion in there to get in the backline.
I feel like, though, if I see an Annie classically doesn't like dealing with long-range mage matchups in the mid lane. They just kind of poke her out before she can get into effective range for her own spells. So instead, they're going to settle on the Anivia here for LYON.
Yeah, and the question is that top or mid? You know, we will find that out with this last pick for sure. I think it's, you know, it's an okay matchup against Viktor. You know, Viktor can kind of outrange and poke down and get push. Anivia, of course, you're looking for catches with the wall, but Anivia is not a champion that wants to relocate. Like, you set up shop, you have control of space in one area, and that's kind of what you're looking for. And I am just a little bit worried that, you know, it might be the Nocturne versus the world, but there is that Sylas that I had touched on. That was the last kind of aggressive pick that Saint had left, and they're just going to go for it. So it looks like it probably is going to be Anivia top here. And Saint plus the Nocturne are going to be the dive buddies.
Yeah, I actually saw Dhokla in a solo queue game Anivia just the other day, so I think that is where it's going as well. And Anivia also is so good into so many matchups on top side. It actually is blindable, even though it's not the most giant play rates. And Morgan says, fine, I will take the Jax into it with a Sejuani synergy. That gives you a lot more confidence because as annoying as Anivia can be, the Sejuani synergy is very, very strong here. Jax can proc the Sejuani passive very, very quickly. And you have a couple of more ways to play the 2v2. It's going to be interesting, though, too. I think a lot of resources should be spent around getting mid lane priority pretty early in this game, because that can actually open up the map for you. Like, if it goes to the TL side, and you keep the Sylas, constantly having to recall and under turret, and you're taking away the resources of health that he wants to be able to spend to lane effectively, and you kind of get the Sylas behind the pace of the game, so that he doesn't scale as well, can't get as tanky and as much cooldown reduction, then it's going to make him a lot less effective here. So TL, it seems like once again they've built a pretty strong team comp here that kind of forces LYON to work a little bit more for their win con.
And I feel like I like what TL drafted a lot more, right? Like you have good angles of attack, on the top side. Yes, Anivia is really strong in the isolated 1v1, but famously, Anivia is so slow. You are very gankable. If you get up there, kill off this Anivia, it can get bad in matchups like against the Jax, where Jax can just constantly jump on you if he gets ahead and can start to really punish. And then you're thinking about all the ability to counter engage. You're trying to engage onto Yeon and QUID through Jax, through Rakan, through Sejuani. That sounds hard.
So back in game number 1, obviously things didn't go great for Team Liquid. We heard in the game number 2 interview from Spawn that it was frustrating. It felt like they didn't play the way that they knew that they could, and he was like, I really hope we can show a better game here in number 2. Sure enough, it was slow, but they did. It showed me that Team Liquid had the right perspective, the right outlook on why they lost and how to fix it. And so now I'm curious if LYON will be able to bounce back the same, considering the frustration that we heard in their comms. We see both junglers starting on the other guys' Raptors here in game 3.
Yeah, LYON are going to split the map here for their Corki Nami lane in the bottom side. Or not even fully split the map, just go for the Raptors and cross into counter jungle here. So Inspired is showing, so that means Jose knows he's not going to have time to stick around. It's not going to be a full split map. He says, okay, fine, I'll just do the Raptor trade with you.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I don't think you can allow your Anivia to get isolated on that side and go into a split map where Anivia has no vision and has to play on the same side as the Sejuani and the Jax. That would be too difficult. This is, of course, all the most recent games from Dhokla, who has been just kind of chain-winning games with LYON. They've been doing very well lately. Of course, they did lose their first series of the split against Cloud9, and now going up against TL, the other of the kind of top 3 teams, trying to keep themselves in with a shot for first place. And they have to win this series if they want a shot at first place.
All right, TL bottom lane. Yeon and Core are happy. Just farming up underneath the turret right now. Corki and Nami with control over the lane. Powerful duo. And now looking at junglers, pretty standard stuff despite the early switcheroo on the Raptor camps. Everybody just clearing top to bottom side. Of course, Inspired is going to be slightly faster on that one, as you can see him going to the next camp here already.
Yep, going to be feeling pretty good about that. Saint, of course, just trying to withstand the pressure from QUID, in these early levels. Deathfire Touch, can be pretty darn strong in this kind of matchup because it is pretty easy to constantly reapply it. And of course, if you keep it going after 3 seconds, it doubles the damage that it does off the initial poke. So, QUID is just constantly trying to look for the reapplication there, but does have to be careful of taking a tower shot because of that DFT.
It is going to be interesting, too, on second Raptor spawn here because mid lane pressure, as we talked about from Champ Select, is going to mean a lot. And they did kind of force the double starts for Raptors for the really early Raptor timings here. Inspired is going to take the bottom side Scuttle Crab and be there for second spawn / the wraparound on QUID. Is going to pass through, but QUID says, fine, I avoid it quite easily, and Inspired's going to get the double.
Exactly. I really like the fact that Inspired just said, you know what, I don't care about my blue buff. We had to waste the extra time because we were walking back and forth to our own sides of the map. So now I'm just going to instead prioritize these crabs, takes both of the first crab spawns, and then now has his own chickens to go right back to.
So he is going to do the second chicken sear and then quite possibly go up to Krebs afterwards, but without going for a recall. So doesn't have any extra. Okay, so he now is going to pass down back to the blue since it's a. Okay.
Nope, now he's heading back.
Still no. So without the recall,
Gotcha.
yeah, without the recall, you are a little slower. He's debating. He's like, okay, do I need to defend this blue, or does it matter? Do we need to cross again?
And I feel like when you see that TL has bot push and you're expecting Sejuani over there, you saw him on that ward. You just don't want to fight that, right? So he's cross-mapping, seeing if he can trade back any camps, but nothing is up here. And because of kind of the weird start to the game, clearly he doesn't have a perfect count on what camps have been taken by Jose, so he thought he could steal away a camp to trade, wasn't able to do so. The Gromp is spawning now, but it would be too late, so he needs to get back to base, and as a result, I think Jose is pretty happy about this.
Yeah, I like the information gathering and kind of reacting there as he's got the ward that's over by the Raptors and trying to change depending on the movement, so good, honestly, responses to this whole game from Jose so far, and farming kind of evenly here does feel pretty nice, I feel like, for TL.
Yeah, I mean, QUID holding on for a long time. He's really trying to greed the lost chapter, so didn't want to go back to base, but he still hasn't even TP'd. And Saint is taking his second base. So Saint is already heading back out from base here twice. I think the wave is going to be pushing away from him, so is going to lose some minions in that mid lane. QUID was able to kind of corral that, and now is going to TP back. Have to assume he has a lost chapter or something. Instead, going to go for a catalyst. So I wanted to greed for a first goodbye, and did get that, but Saint looks like he missed that cannon, unfortunately.
Yep,
so
I didn't see the yellow number pop up. Unfortunately, the second part of that Q did not explode in time. Poor Saint, RIP. Still feeling all right here in this lane. It's a very slight CS lead. Meanwhile, Core and Yeon try to go in after Berserker, but the fast reaction there valks away the Lion ADC to safety.
We're having some pretty late base timings, honestly, in a couple of these lanes. You know, you look down in bot lane as well. Both Yeon and Berserker have not yet based, and TL, like as you said, I think are going to be pretty happy just farming away. Up on the top side, Morgan is doing a great job just holding his own, just trying to survive under tower and keep farming.
And honestly, depending on how many of these minions at his tower he picks up as we get ults traded in a mid lane, Saint going to be able to push with that one. You know, Morgan now even going offensive on the push back out off of the tower.
Okay, Morgan flashing forward, wants to try to find his kill onto Dhokla, or at least try force him into egg. Dhokla does stay alive for now. Meanwhile, the fight continues down here on the bottom side. CoreJJ got to be careful. Battle dance back towards Yeon. Now, I might not be right about this, considering I don't know all the Xayah Rakan interactions. Morgan trying to find a stun there onto Inspire, but has to jump back over the wall. I believe that CoreJJ had the range on that battle dance just because it's Xayah that he was dancing to. I think that wall would have been slightly too wide on a normal champion, so the synergy paying off there.
Yeah, it did definitely look like it. There are some of those nice little interactions, of course. You know, for having that duo. Was kind of an interesting experiment. Never have gone back to it, but is a fun duo for sure.
I like, too, the choice to trade your flash with the Anivia on top side. Wait a second.
Ooh, Saint just abscond up, ducks straight into the brush, finds CoreJJ, who has to use his heal to make sure he doesn't get too low, and dances back to the safety of Josedeodo this time.
It made me think when Morgan's going for that trade, I'm already thinking, okay, so that was when both junglers were level 5. So he's doing this ahead of time to prep the possible Sejuani level 6 gank. Like, again, that chain CC is incredible. Egg, honestly, if you don't have your flash, the egg probably isn't going to matter much at all if you have Sejuani get up there, because the chain CC is so much and they can pop you in an extended lane. So I want to see if that's where they actually do want Jose's pressure, because Jose, or Morgan very clearly, you know, doing the early work there. Even though we were also kind of looking at mid lane as a possible site, since they still have their flashes, it's not nearly as enticing. And then you always have to second guess yourself when you're playing against Nocturne, though, and not overextend.
Absolutely do. I feel like Jose has just done a really good job of being a bit unpredictable with his pathing, because that's multiple times now that Inspired has crossed thinking there's camps to steal. You know, first he went for the top side, now he goes for the bot side, trying to check the red and the Krugs, try to steal that away, but they weren't there. So he has to just walk all the way back across the map here. And you can see that nice little trick with the wall. You can basically make it so it's guaranteed the wave will come to you, because the cannon's just freaking out.
Yeah,
like,
you're losing the DPS of those minions. The minions walk around, so they're not damaging the enemy minions, and you get a nice little placement of the wave.
Well, it's a 2v2 here in the bottom lane. Again, starting to get dangerous. Yeon fires back into Berserker, but it's Josedeodo over the wall. And that's the edge that TL needs. The jungler shows up, and it's first blood for Liquid.
This campaign for MVP is looking good, guys. I gotta say, Jose's making a very good case for getting my vote at least.
I mean, Jose's been smurfing for sure. I gotta say, I don't think Berserker wins that even in a 2v2 though. He was very aggressive. He kind of just walked past the grand entrance there. He valks forward, you know, he's going really aggressive. Yeon still had barrier and ultimate. I just don't see a world in which they actually win that 2v2. So, you know, did go for the aggressive play, and Jose is there to punish. Just don't know if it would have worked out even if he wasn't.
Tough stuff for LYON, man. They got to make sure they're locked in here. Like you said, they're still potentially in the running for first place, but that is 100% eliminated if they lose this series against TL here today. QUID eats a turret shot back in the mid lane. Inspired comes in with a paranoia here for the gank. Flash over the wall from the mid laner of Team Liquid. QUID barely staying alive. Saint goes over with the stolen Glacial Prison, and that will seal the deal. LYON is on the board. However, up here from the top side, we were asking earlier, will this pay dividends, forcing the flash on Anivia? Yes, it will. Scrambled eggs for breakfast. Morgan's eating good.
And it's actually that TL lane swap play where they recall early for bottom side, swap up to the top side. But I wanted to touch on QUID's death by greed first. That turret plate's so juicy, Azael, that it cost him his life.
I mean, he took 2 tower shots. He took 2 tower shots there. Saint did a good job. You know, as he walked up to hit that tower, Saint clears out the wave and stuns him under the turret, so the second tower shot comes through, and then Inspire's in the area. He's going to take that kill every time. TP back in, you're in trouble.
Oh no, Dhokla TP's back in and may just immediately die right after. He's on top of an entire graveyard of feathers. That TP sucks.
Yeah, Yeon was ready for him. He's like, oh, great. Blade Caller on arrival. Chunks down the Anivia with no egg. They complete the tower dive, and TL are just running away with the early game.
Yeah, the wheels are falling off here fast for LYON in Game 3. They won Game 1, were really dominant. Game 2 did not go their way. And Game 3 definitely starting off not how they were hoping, as this was that initial play up on top side. Obviously, the Nocturne ult was going mid. And in comes Core, flash over the wall. There's not much you can do about that.
Once your egg gets procced outside of the turret range, that's rough.
I was watching your screen. sorry. Yeah, good play. You can TP.
For them playing against Nocturne is a very common strategy.
Just got a screen peek here a little bit.
Look at your teammates here. Get a little extra info. I was on the edge of my seat, actually. I thought that was going to be a LYON.
It's like, hold on, brother.
Like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, for people who aren't familiar with that trick, what he's talking about, because obviously Nocturne ult turns off your vision around your character, but in pro play, you're sitting beside your teammates. So you can look over at their screens and see where they are, which is something in solo queue you cannot do. So is what Jose is referring to there.
Unless you land with your buddies.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
A little land party.
You guys want to bring over the PC?
Queue up together.
Yeah.
We're going to try that, and we're still going to lose, LP.
Yeah. True. But we'll have fun doing it.
Exactly.
And
there's 3 of us. It's Flex QLP. Nobody really cares about that anyway. It's fine. We can take the -15 for an hour's worth of fun. That's okay.
We'll just queue with multiple jungle players. All good.
Yeah, no reason not to just have multiple junglers. All right, the Dragon is alive, though. And remember that Team Liquid has both neutral objectives so far. All 3 grubs alongside Drake #1. Drake #2 alive now at a time on the clock that is only slightly past when the first Drake was taken in the second game. So more attention paid early on to neutral objectives here in this third one. We're between the pace of games 1 and game 2 here in #3. Game 1 was definitely the most action-packed early. Game #2, definitely the least. Here in this one, somewhere between the two, as Saint, with that proto belt, can use it for a little bit of snappier trading against QUID, who does have his Rod of Ages recently completed, so we'll have that one hitting the 10-stack power spike in the early 20-minute marks on the clock. As you can see, quests starting to get completed. AD carry and mid quest completed on both sides, with the extra support quest done for TL.
Yeah, and Rogue just makes a lot of sense in a game like this where they are going to dive you, right?
Yeah.
You know, you are the best target. Xayah has Featherstorm. It's a lot easier for her to survive. So getting a little bit more HP, getting a little bit of tankiness here, I think makes a ton of sense.
And I would say there might be a play going for your head imminently, QUID, because they have your flash timer from last time, and they very well could just go for another Nocturne ult, you know, with the Hex Plate completed, with the Proto Belt completed there for Saint. So definitely waiting a little bit, playing a little bit more cautiously, since you are a prime target. Both junglers, though, on the top side of the map while the Dragon is spawned, both thinking the same thing.
Yep, they go after Dhokla, but they don't find it. Now Inspired, ready here for the counterattack. Wants the fear onto Morgan, but the Jax gets back away, has to use his flash to do it. Morgan's hurting a little bit, but he will be able to take a recall and then use the teleport to return to his position here in the top side.
Okay, so they invest the Nocturne ultimate. Again, he has his Hex Plate completed, so it's a much lower cooldown for the ultimate, and he'll have it up pretty quickly, but no flash on Morgan or Dhokla after that play. Spellbook exhaust is not really a big deal at all. That one being used as well, just to make sure there's no kill angle.
Yeah, Dhokla played that pretty well, I think. Flashing out pretty quickly to react to that Sejuani ult, then walls off, so the Nocturne ult comes in, and you can actually force that flash. That was pretty well played, but a rare sight. Inspired is down about half a level, maybe even more than half a level to Jose here, and generally, Inspired is always the one that is ahead of the pace of the game, and Nocturne is a good farmer, but Jose has been very effective, already has 2 kills to his name, and has been keeping up his farm extremely well.
And that's even more impressive when you consider, again, we've mentioned it a lot throughout the draft so far today, big focus on the jungle pool from LYON, making sure they're keeping the Pantheons and the Lee Sins, and up until now the Nocturnes away from Josedeodo, as now that dragon does get burned down. So Inspired and LYON do find the opportunity to take that one away when TL don't have a chance to respond.
Yeah, Viktor a little bit too far away from that one. They were kind of hovering around the outside with the rest of the members, and now they're making a little movement on Saint.
Yeah, Saint in some danger. Abscond abduct repositions him, using Josedeodo as a bit of a slingshot to get himself away to safety.
Yep, gonna stay safe down on that bottom side. Did have Inspired behind him, who now has that Nocturne ult back up and available. But Isles is going back to base. Inspired will go back to base. They will get vision of Inspired completing his recall, and definitely wants to get to level 11 before he uses that ult. Increase the range, reduce the cooldown, can make quite a difference here. But definitely feel like this is a pretty high pressure game here. LYON really wanting to play for first place. You're really wanting to be ramping up for playoffs. And also trying to figure out what the roster is even going to be for playoffs. You made a roster change here with only a couple weeks left in that regular season. And yeah, you have this week, you have next week. Then we are in playoffs where every match is going to matter so much.
Yeah, and it comes at a cost as well. If clearly, as they're using both top laners now, you're also going to be splitting up your scrim time. Saint again under attack. Nice little jump though, gets him out very easily. Able to exit there. We're going to swap over with the teleporter on the other side.
Yeah, Morgan tries to get away with a leap strike, but Inspired is ready to follow there with the paranoia, has the fear with Saint and Dhokla both right behind him. There's no way for Morgan to get away. So LYON's going to get their kill, but Team Liquid will claim first turret in the bottom lane.
Good punish on the flash that was blown with the last Nocturne ultimate. It's back up, so they go for it again. I have to say though, Flowers, that's a good bonus of gold with the first turret bonus being added back in. So still extremely close here, and QUID goes back top with CoreJJ to see if he can get an answer.
And it doesn't look like they should be able to find it. Sylas pretty durable, but he will get stunned up on the gravity field. Grand entrance on top of the Arcane Storm. Josedeodo has arrived, but the ulti doesn't find its target. Saint's got the flash. Josedeodo still, though, with enough damage, secures the kill.
Just barely, because the Merc Tread's shield came back up as he was ticking down there. And I thought that magic shield might have been enough to keep him high enough above that to survive the ignite. But at the end of the day, it does get taken down, and that is a nice play there again from TL.
Spellbook is going crazy, guys. Oh my goodness. Is actually going so crazy, and that's going to mean Team Liquid grab another objective as well.
It's also worth noting, Dhokla, we were talking about Anivia builds quite a bit over these last couple of weeks. First it had been Roa Tier, then people moved to Roa Liandry's, then people moved to Roa Malignance, and now we have Dhokla here. He is back on that tier build. It is powerful, does give you a ton of mana, but it takes forever to get online, and you really don't start doing a lot of damage until you get a third item. Of course, it's possible he's just going to sit on the tier and get a Malignance, but if you do complete that Archangels, it's very defensive, but you're lacking a little bit of power, I feel like, in these team fights.
Yeon on defense duty here for the tier 1 turret. Very edge of the Aqua Prison hits him, though, so Yeon going to have to be pretty mindful of how much he wants to try to defend. Does clear out most of the minions. Berserker, one more auto attack, should be able to finish off the turret. Yeon didn't have enough wave clear to keep it standing, but now the rest of Team Liquid has arrived for the punish. Berserker had the Valkyrie to get away, but Isles has no such thing. So kill number 5 going TL's way after LYON takes the second turret there in the mid lane.
Good little collapse from TL, but just losing to Nami for the tower, not the end of the world. They don't spend any summoners. They don't waste anything major. He doesn't even use his tidal wave, so it's not the biggest deal, and it's not, you know, lined up with a dragon or anything like that. So continuing to get some gold here on Berserker, which is important. You do now have the 3 lanes ahead in gold, very slightly, but ahead in gold for LYON. You know, Dhokla, Saint, and Berserker all are that little bit ahead. It's just Jose now with the gold lead. So LYON has done a good job, I feel like, problem solving what was a pretty tough early game. And even down 3 kills here, they are in a pretty good spot.
And look at the CS gap between Dhokla and Morgan, plus 40? That's crazy stuff.
I don't know if I'm like too strict of a parent, though, because I feel like you still deserve criticism since most of the gold for towers is split up into turret plates now. So the end of a tower isn't worth nearly as much as it used to be. So like dying for an end of a tower, to me it now is a no-no. And they literally saw Viktor walk. He's got a cane, bro.
I hear
all
you.
the way from top lane.
I hear you, but have you considered Berserker loves money?
Well, hold on.
That's true.
Hold on. Berserker also loves staying alive. We just saw a big attempted engage there from Team Liquid. Josedeodo throws out the ulti, forces the flash away from Isles, or he would have got caught again. This is also going to demand a TP response from Dhokla to join up with the rest of the team. The wall does a good job stopping the Herald. Shelly just kind of...
She's raging out right now.
Yeah, she's a little tilted at that one. Berserker loses half HP there to a quick burst from QUID, who places down a gravity field to prevent LYON from being able to walk directly over towards the Drake itself. Josedeodo still on that one, has it down to about 2,000 HP. Saint off the side, dealing with Morgan here, as Team Liquid still thinking about if they want to take this fight. Saint with a stolen quickness finds the charm onto the Jax. Morgan's got to try to be careful here, but over the wall goes CoreJJ with a real quickness. He wants to keep his top laner alive. The counter-strike is still spinning. Saint drops to Morgan, and Team Liquid has found 1 kill for nothing so far. Dhokla, Isles, and Berserker all grouped up together. Inspired versus Morgan in a 1v1 off on the right. Morgan's ready to try to turn it around here with a counter-strike. Morgan dies, but Inspired goes with him there in a 1-for-1. 2-for-1 overall here in the fight. Team Liquid still looking for a little bit more. Berserker wants to try to bait him into a bad spot. Yeon's down to 300 HP. QUID is stuck inside the Glacial Storm, and QUID dies. A big wall from Big Dokes to make it an even fight so far. Josedeodo with Yeon and Core still trying to stand and make something happen here, but a beautiful Aqua Prison over the wall from Isles. TL finally gonna head home. What a scrap!
That was a crazy fight. I mean, Morgan was getting so much work done on the side for TL in this one. It's Morgan and Core versus the jungler and the mid laner from LYON, and they're the ones that were kind of winning out on this scrap.
And look at the re-engage. So Inspired is going to flash. Meanwhile, Saint E's back in, and so he dies there with the extra damage. Morgan then continues the chase. On live, we're getting more action, though.
Yeah, we've got Josedeodo and Morgan trying to make the play on a Dhokla with a TP about to arrive from the LYON side. It's Team Liquid who decides they're going to send even more men. Yes, there's the egg for Dhokla, but the egg doesn't matter when you die in a spot that you can't actually save it afterwards. So Dhokla's going to lose the passive for free. 1 TP for 1 TP committed, and LYON loses their top laner.
Yeah, I think there was even the double TP from TL, because Morgan TP'd behind him, and then QUID TP's in to reinforce late. So they send a lot of members there. They do kill off Dhokla, who we didn't get to see the tail end of that team fight in the replay, but he was playing great with those walls. You know, first he catches off QUID, then, you know, he's walling off Jose, was positioning well, and Berserker, even though he got chunked at the start, they're going to look for a dive.
Yeah, now Morgan in danger yet again, not respecting Inspired's Nocturne, and gets picked off in the side lane for it. Saint's the one taking the kill, now has the most of anyone on LYON at 3, 2, and 1 here with the Sylas.
Yeah. Banger series here, game number 3, and we are going blow for blow. Now Nocturne, of course, going ultimate, and Jose does have his nice little spell shield.
Yep. Over the wall, Jose was ready, but LYON was also ready with the response. Good job there from Inspired, as another plate is going to be burned off of the tier 1 turret there, thanks to the Void Grub burn, whatever it's called. I don't remember exactly the name of the thing, but that means a little bit of extra money in Team Liquid pockets, and every bit of money counts. This game has been less than 1,000 gold apart the whole time, and now Berserker's about to get knocked down. Nice engage from Core, nice follow-up from Yeon.
Yeah, that was really well done. QUID just comes in from the side, pushes him back, and with the Valk forced, you can't miss. And now they're just going to start the Baron here. They know Berserker, one of the strongest members, is gone. LYON need to try to defend this. They have no ult on Inspired either, and no flash.
But Morgan is making his way over. The Jax ready to join up with the rest of the team. CoreJJ trying to hold this defensive position here in the brush as the rest of Team Liquid continues DPSing the Baron. They've got it down to about 5,000 HP. Keep your eyes on Inspired, looking to enter into the fight. Paranoia's already going to get dropped. Inspired looking for his angle, seeing if now's the time to jump in, and he finally goes. But Inspired's going to be targeting. Yeon goes up into the Featherstorm, but he is dead. Saint finds the kill. Inspired and Saint looking to finish off the Baron, but Josedeodo's ready to contest it. It's a smite fight in the pit. A double kill back over to Saint. And the Baron goes to LYON. The fight goes to LYON. A triple kill for Saint on the Sylas, stepping up when they need him most. Quadra kill for Saint as Josedeodo heads into the enemy jungle. He is the only man standing in Team Liquid colors, and LYON just found the exact fight they needed.
And look at Berserker, he's just pushing mid lane. They're gonna get so much off this. That engage from Saint and Inspired was sick on Yeon. He couldn't react, didn't get his Featherstorm off until he was already 10% HP, and by then it was too late.
Incredibly clutch right there. Inspired pops Nocturne ultimate, and he just holds it and waits. As you see, they chase down the Sejuani anyway. Jose's death timer will be desynced as well. Inspired collects out. Okay, I love when Nocturnes do this and they use the entire timer for the ultimate. Watch how long he waits. They have vision because they still have the ward in the back of Baron Pit.
Watch Saint though. They don't have vision on him. Alt flash over the wall. He absconds over the wall, then alt flash with the stolen Sejuani ult onto Yeon, point blank, couldn't react, catches him out, and they burst him down.
It's perfect timing between the two of them. They take him out, and then here you go. This is what all junglers live for, the clutch smite fight. He's able to get it. Inspire gets it on top of already having the advantage in the fight. So, you know, Saints be able to chase them out.
Yo!
LYON happy after that one for sure.
Rain over, very happy. I mean, the game is just so tense.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I saw 1386, I think, and that's a 1400 smite.
Yeah.
So that is about as perfect gets in a real game of League. So Inspired clutching up, but really this game has been about Saint, his individual performances.
Yep. And
that was a big time play. Utilizing the Nocturne ult, Yeon can't see you coming, ult flash with a stolen Sejuani ult that he got vision on by queuing over the wall earlier in the fight to steal. That is big time plays.
And because it's Nocturne, even once the Sejuani CC wears off and he goes up into the Featherstorm, he's feared as he lands. His feet touch the ground and he's still CC'd despite being untargetable before it. The chain just worked out perfectly for LYON.
And the timing between the two of them is perfect. Immediately collapsing, chaining. I mean, the synergy seems to be back.
And now the reward there for LYON, it's not just the fact that they got the Baron, it's the fact that you can look in the inventory, Seeker's Arm Guard available for Dhokla, full Hourglass available for Saint, huge playmaking tools, huge teamfight tools available for these guys. Lord Dominic's Regards, fully completed for Berserker, who's just going to tear through health bars on this Corki. Josedeodo tries to find the Glacial Prison, but ultimately ends up not hitting a target, and LYON just continues their siege.
Yeah, and I mean, Isles has the Mikhails ready to go, obviously rushing Mandate, but the Mikhails is done, so that's going to be an easy answer. If it is just that Sejuani ult starting things off, you can see Bloodletter's Curse has been done for Saint. That's going to be really nice for both Dhokla and him. And now TL up against it here in Game 3 of this pivotal series. TL trying to stay undefeated for their matchup against Cloud9 next week, who is 6-0, and LYON trying to take them down, because if they lose here, they are locked out of getting first place. They lost their first series of the split against Cloud9 and have just been cruising ever since then.
APA directly asked Team Liquid, please, can you meet us at 6-0 next weekend? And right now, LYON are trying to make that impossible.
Yeah, and they're doing a pretty good job at it. Like I was saying before that fateful Baron fight, this entire game was 1,000 gold or less apart for the entire time. And now we've got a 5,500 gold lead for LYON. Dragons are tied 2-2, so it's not like TL can try to find a big soul fight to come back to mostly parity. It's going to be very difficult for TL to fight their way back from this position. As you can see, LYON just owns the entire map. Morgan is split pushing in bottom lane right now, trying to get something, but LYON has total possession over the TL jungle.
It's so much more fun to me when the games come down to clutch late game moments like that. See if they can use it to finish it out with the lead that they have garnered from it. Still a long way to go.
And this is the total damage for the game. You see QUID is getting a lot done, but Yeon has been struggling a little bit more to kind of get involved in these fights. They have been doing a good job putting pressure on him. And I think it's going to be so much about, can LYON continue to put that pressure onto Yeon? He is very strong at this point, has 3 super powerful items. If you can't get an engage like that onto him, he could run over you in a team fight.
And I want to shout out Big Dokes as well from the other side there on LYON. Him doing tremendous amounts of damage, and look, he's level 18 with the rod ticking over. Obviously, the rod's going to help you out with the level advantage, but having a 3-level advantage, however you get it, feels really good. And he's got a Zhonya's, as well as I believe the egg passive is back up. So you've got flash. You can create so many plays, and Dhokla really has had, a very big impact in both the games, especially with all the extra eyes and scrutiny on him. Sometimes, people are always wondering, are you going to crumble under more pressure of having someone behind you? Is this going to throw off your mentality or your focus in the game? Or are you going to rise to the occasion?
Pressure creates both diamonds and rubble, gentlemen. It's up to you which one you become. And Dhokla right now is shining bright. 1,500 individual gold lead, level 18 in a game where the enemy support is level 10. He's feeling powerful right now, and Morgan might just be the target. Saint and Dhokla both moving around down this bottom lane, but they don't know where everybody else on TL is, so they think better of it. And it's a good thing they did, because TL was ready to cover for their top laner. Baron is about to respawn on the map right now. Next Dragon will be alive in 45 seconds as Inspired and LYON head up towards that topside river.
Yeah, Berserker has gold for the crit cloak, so he just needs gold for the combine. I don't think he's going to get it before this next dragon fight, but that Infinity Edge, when it comes in for Corki, that is when this champion can just delete you, and they're having this Baron just being soloed up by Inspired right now.
All right, Inspired is going to take a decent chunk of his HP, but he does have the super-powered apples to eat to regenerate about half
Baron's
of that.
got hands, okay.
Yep.
Respect.
He's actually got like 6 of them. There's a whole bunch of nasty little purple hands
No
coming up out of
fair.
the ground. Yeah, it's too many.
That's why you got to bring teammates to that fight. But let's take a look at this flank.
Okay, Saint with a stolen Rakan ulti tries to go over the wall, finds the engage, but it's only on to Josedeodo, who does take a chunk, but he still keeps himself alive for now. Saint being healed up by Isles, but it's Team Liquid with control over the bot side river.
That Glacial Prison from Jose, I'm not sure if that was just a disengaged one or if he actually saw him coming, but that was instantly, as Saint flashed on him, he got Sej ulted, and just that engage got stuffed.
Now Inspired trying to step up, contest for this next Drake. Remember, it's not sold for
Morgan.
either team. But now Saint on the flank, arrived into the fight. Inspired's got to be careful here. Josedeodo over the wall, but Inspired is still standing. Jose is already down. LYON is finding a hell of a fight so far as Morgan's got to try to keep himself alive here with the counter-strike, but the Arcane Storm is still ticking. Dhokla gets the kill into Morgan, and now there's the extra one onto QUID. Saint is dominating as Yeon and CoreJJ run straight into the enemy jungle. They're the only 2 left on Team Liquid, and Saint does not want any survivors in this one. Core and Yeon still trying to get away, but Berserker's got full HP. He's got the Valk. Yeon and Core are still just running. Meanwhile, Dhokla is in the enemy base. The whole goal for the rest of LYON is don't let these guys back. Yeon and Core trying to get away, but they're just being held captive in the enemy jungle. Saint continues trying to find the abducts.
Here's
grab
the
one of the
DP.
kills. Berserker continuing to look for Yeon here, but it's Inspired who arrives. Goes after the enemy carry, has to immediately back off as Yeon defensively ults. CoreJJ, however, will not be so lucky. He dies again with another massively desynced timer from the rest of his team.
I'm too good, man. I'm too good.
He is, man. Did you see him in that fight? Again, with the arm guard, with the flash, with the egg at his disposal. He creates so much space. And then as they were trying to retreat mid lane, he hits the wall. He does not let Morgan escape. They get that kill. They get the other kill. I mean, it was actually so much space.
Yeah, it was. And at the beginning of that fight, Morgan just leap strikes into the back, and I thought this was going to be a good fight for TL because look at Morgan. He's just in the middle of their team, but all of them pull back. He walls off some of the carries. Jose and Morgan do go in with Core, but Berserker, Isles, Inspired, they all pull back and they just knock him down, and then this is Dhokla on the side like you're talking about.
Yep, he puts up the wall. He doesn't let them escape. He used his ultimate both times very well to be able to zone right there, slow them down. Uses the flash, upgrades his arm guard into the Zhonya's, got another use of it now. And LYON have increased the gold lead, but more importantly, with the Baron buff, that lets them siege the base way more effectively.
And now we've got Guardian Angel on Inspired, as well as those 2 fully upgraded Hourglasses for the AP solo laners, as well as the Mikhails there for Isles. It's so hard to find a play to punish these guys from the Team Liquid side.
And the IE that we were talking about, nearly a void staff for Dhokla, they just got so much gold. They're already up 9,000 gold, plus they are on soul point here. They don't even have to rush because they are playing incredibly well in these fights. And Berserker, it just feels like he is having a field day. They're not able to put any pressure on him. The rest of the LYON members are creating so much space for this Corki, who is now ridiculously strong at this point of the game.
All right, TL, time to lock in and defend because it's a free lane push coming out from LYON. Saint putting the pressure on the inhibitor here in mid. Top lane tier 3 Turbid is still standing with about half HP. Bottom lane, Morgan tries to clear the waves. As Inspired is pushing down here, he's always ready to ult in to join if there's a fight in one of the other 2 locations. Morgan, of course, will not be able to reach the fight as quickly. Saint goes in, stolen Rakan ulti, but no value to be found. Morgan is far back enough that he doesn't get caught by this attempt from LYON.
Yeah, Morgan playing it pretty safe there. A bit of an ambitious attempt. I mean, had the Abscond duck connected, then the Rakan ult does something, and maybe you can actually chain down Morgan, but he has a Seekers. Just kind of lacking damage, though. He's down 3.6k gold to Dhokla, so has fallen very far behind, and Saint just completed Death Cap. It just feels like keeps getting worse and worse here for TL, but their carries are still strong. Yeon's on 4 fully completed items, and QUID is working towards his 4th item here. Wants to get that Death Cap online, but still very far away from it.
I'm struggling to see the world where without a major blunder from LYON, TL can win a fight.
I think the world is an overdive from LYON, right? Where they send it and, you know, you go full in onto Yeon and he gets that Featherstorm off early. All of a sudden the counter engage comes through. That is the world I think it has to happen in, but LYON are playing these team fights out so well. They're not overcommitting. They're not just throwing themselves into the meat grinder because with this gold lead, they don't actually need to dive anymore. They can just hit whatever's in front of them.
Yeah, and they've got a level 20 bird that you have to get through. Like the walls are so frustrating to actually get your good battle lines. So
yeah.
See what they can actually pull off. Side lanes become a lot more difficult now. Guardian Angel is done here for Inspired, so Inspired can also, you know, full send behind Saint. If Saint is pushing here, this Sylas has been massive all game, and he's full 10 stacks with his Death Cap was completed here. It's full build Sylas in side lane, who's already dangerous. If you add the Nocturne ultimate on top of that, it's for TL, it's like, how do we ever like really get out of our base, out of our towers? It's so dangerous. And so the map is completely dark for them. It's very dangerous. And you know LYON are just waiting to pounce.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so interesting because, you know, when you think of Anivia wall, you think of it as a catch tool, but in fights later on into the game, you can just wall out the carries, right? Like, you don't need to actually use that aggressively. You can just wall out Yeon.
Oh, over the wall. Saint just chunks CoreJJ by 75% HP. You could see him waiting there inside that red buff pit, seeing if he could find anybody on Team Liquid, and that was nearly a one-shot.
That is terrifying stuff, Corey. Yeah, just about got deleted.
How do you even approach this Dragon Soul fight? I mean, they have that one ward. That ward is helping, but even though you can see their positions moving, it's so crazy to get in.
Josedeodo jumps in, Glacial Prison there on the Dhokla. Stolen Prison fired right back towards Yeon. Not a lot of value out of either one, and that might just seal the deal. Morgan goes in for a flanking teleport, but everybody on LYON is just waiting as he arrives. Morgan is instantly killed, and now it's a 5v4 for the next 50 seconds. LYON's going to start it off by taking the Infernal Soul for free, and you have to think they just walk it down the lanes from there.
Just so well played there by LYON. You know, they're completely choking TL out vision-wise. Jose tries to force an engage. Nocturne just turns off the lights to say, you can't follow up on this because you do not know where we are. But Morgan had already teleported, dies without even being able to get the Zhonya's off, and TL after that, no, there is no shot at contest. So their hope now becomes delay, delay, delay. Hope you can maybe make a miracle happen later, steal away an Elder, but LYON are clearly not going to flip. They are looking for the 100% chance.
Yeah, they're putting so much pressure on TL to make the move and be the ones that are going to cause the first error here. Now it's kind of like a lot of these style plays where you're grouping up in a little small, like commando style, sneak through the brush. Maybe we could do a surprise brush play or something on somebody. But even rolling the dice there, not able to find anything. And so LYON will have another very easy setup this time for Baron. It was already hard to approach the Soul. Now trying to approach a Baron when they have the extra infernal damage on top of it seems like a very, very tall task.
Observers highlighted the ward up there placed by Team Liquid in that top lane side brush, but unfortunately for TL, even if they want to teleport someone up there to make some crazy flank, Morgan just used his TP. The only one that could possibly do it is QUID. Flanking Viktor is not normally a winning gambit, I would have to think. So TL, they are just going to go ahead and use that teleport from QUID to bring him back into the mid lane, but LYON has already started up the Baron. TL, they're thinking about the approach. They're staring down the barrel of an 11,000 gold deficit of an enemy team that already has the Infernal Soul. LYON, again, just playing it so safe, so slow, so methodical, taking zero risks as Team Liquid feels forced to make something happen here. Morgan with the counter strike, goes in after Berserker, finds a stun, but it's not going to turn into a whole lot of anything for him as TL can't find any of the kills. Yeon has already used the ultimate here with Xayah, but he turns back around and Insane is shut down. Inspired's going to be knocked into the Guardian Angel just yet as Team Liquid found the angle they needed after all this time. Dhokla buys himself a moment here with a stasis. TL forced back for now. Berserker grabs the kill into QUID. Dhokla's egg still alive. The shutdown onto Inspired comes through for Yeon. The resurrection for Dhokla. He gets alive and he gets away, but no, he's finally taken down. A triple kill back over to Berserker on the Corki. It's Yeon versus Isles and Berserker. Yeon steps forward. Berserker and Isles. They get it done right when Team Liquid looked like they had a shot. Berserker guns him down. Ace for LYON.
Penta kill for Berserker, and LYON are gonna take it.
Oh my God, what an ending. Berserker went crazy in that fight after Saint got shut down. A pentakill, a clean ace, and they are taking this series.
Team Liquid undefeated for 5 weeks of regular season. It was a battle all the way down to the wire here in this 40-minute game number 3, but LYON will triumph 2-1.
Oh my goodness. They had to use everything too. The Zhonya's on Saint, then the Guardian Angel on Inspired, then Dhokla goes into the front line. He uses his Zhonyas, uses the egg, all to create all of this space, and Berserker gets them all.
I mean, when Saint got shut down and Inspire gets popped into GA early, I was thinking they could actually really win this. Berserker played it out so well, even from super low health. The way he was actually spacing from Core and Yeon, not allowing Yeon to even get in range for these auto attacks, just peppering him with his spells, getting him low until he could commit and finish him off. That was beautifully played. That is a real battle between two of our best teams here. And that is going to set up for an exciting final week where we still do not know who is going to be the first place team. We're going to have LYON still in the mix. We're going to have TL versus C9 next week. It's going to make it crazy.
If TL beats C9 next week and then LYON beats their opponent, all 3 of them will be sitting at 6-1 at the very top of the table. Will be absolutely crazy. Don't forget, spam chat now. Let us know who is your player of the game. I mean, Berserker gets to end it with a pentakill.
It's got to be Saint, though.
It's still got to be Saint for me. I agree with that, but I think Dhokla also having an incredible performance in that one. Everybody did a really good job, and now we're going to be heading over